Hello everyone. In this lecture, we are going to attend like how to use the Retrofit client interface and how to use the Retrofit. So coming to the presentation. So this is the basic topic that we are using is Retrofit Android. So if we started the slide and we have to use the Retrofit Android library in our Android development. First of all, we need to create the HTTP client request for using this API services. Okay. So after that, we are just using this library for consuming the data from the JSON to from the backend part by abstracting with away a low level HTTP request and the responses. The purpose of this slide, we are going to set the stage for the rest of the presentation and the peak of the audience interest into the retrofit, because it is a very famous library that we are using. So coming to the next point, like what are the basics that we can cover in the retrofit? In this slide, we are going to cover the basics of the retrofit part, including how to add an Android project and the main component of the retrofit, including the retrofit object, the API interfaces, and the model classes. The goal of this slide is to give the audience a high level of understanding of the what the retrofit and how it's work. So, like I have opened one blog of Coder Arts as well. You can see it here. So, like this is the blog that you can get the how to create a get request or a post request or any of the request by using the retrofit library. So first of all, like this is the introduction part. You can go and visit to this blog as well, and you can get the cover this topic as well. So what are the advantages of the retrofit library and what are the disadvantages of the retrofit library is also present in this blog. So what are the prerequisites we need to get to integrate the retrofit library? So first of all, we are using some dependencies like by using the implementation keyword and dependency by adding the Square App library. So Square App is an open source company which are providing the retrofit library as well. So first of all, we need to take the internet permission in our Android application. By using this permission, we can only access the internet and get the data from the backend part. So how to making a get request with the retrofit? You first of all, and secondly, you have to create the interface in the API services. Okay, by using this annotation, you can see we can use this annotation and at the rate get for getting the repository. Okay, and coming to the second part, defining the model class. Like first of all, when we need to consume the data, we need to create a model class as well. So first class we have created the repository class, and we have getting the name, HTML URL, and the number of strangers which count. So next we have to create the response class. In this we have to create the getter setter and this the list item which are getting from the server part. So after using this, we have to create the instance of the retrofit class and API and create the object of the API services, and then we have just fetch the library, and this is the base URL we are using for consuming the data. And in the second, we need to integrate in our main activity. So by using the call keyword and call.enqueue, we have get the two functions. First of all, it is the on response, and second is the on failure. So when we get the successful response from the backend side, we have to do this part in the code. And if we get a failure or a network failure or a server failure, any type of the error is above of the 400, then we can get into on failure. So we just need to handle these of the requests from there. And what is the conclusion? Like we are using the very powerful library like Retrofit and HTTP client, and which makes our work easier and RESTful API. So go through that blog, and you are able to integrate the library of the GET request. So coming back to our presentation, so these are the basics of the retrofit. So after that, how we can create the API interface. In this slide, we are going to focus how to define a API interface using the annotation specify the endpoint. So we can create a particular request by using the retrofit. We can use the get request, we can use the post request, we can use the put request, as well as we can use the delete request. The purpose of this slide is to help the audience how to understand how to use the retrofit to interact with the APIs. API is basically application programming interface. Like it is a bridge between the front end and the back end side. So which are the parameters like we are sending? Like this is the parameters. Uh, this is the request parameter. This slide is cover how to pass the request parameter to endpoint with the retrofit, including the annotation, like what we are the parameter we are sending, like what is the password, what is the token, like where headers and the request bodies, and the many more things. So this goal of the slide is to demonstrate how the flexible and customizable retrofit is here. Okay, so how to handle the response? We can get how to handle the response which we get from the backend side. So this slide will explain like how to handle, like how we can see in the block, like how we can handle. We can handle the responses by on response and the on failure things. You can see it here clearly. Once you use it to this blog post, you can get all these things. And after that, uh, like how to handle the error also. So on failure, we have to use the RxJava coroutines or any of the libraries we can, which we can handle the error as well. So integrated with the libraries. So in the next slide, we are going to how to integrate with the OKHTTP and HTTP client and JSON to JSON converter factory. Like we are getting the data in the JSON part, as we can know that we are getting the data from the JSON part, and after the JSON part, it is converted to the JSON factory. So we have to convert this JSON part into JSON, and we can use in the Java or Kotlin classes. So we need to demonstrate and customize the following retrofit interceptor to converter, or any other plugin we can use. So this is the end of the slides, and coming to the conclusion part. In the final slide, like we have summarized the benefit of the using the retrofit library. So highlight the simplicity, flexibility, and the compatibility of the all the libraries. We encourage the developers to give a retrofit and try to explore its a full potential. And the purpose of this slide, like to leave the audience with a positive impression of the retrofit. Like we have to use, there are the various libraries present in the internet, like Wally and some other like HTTP to JSON. There are various libraries are present in the retrofit. Now, so we are using the retrofit to inspire them how to use it in their own project. So coming to the in student life, we are using a lot of the project, and we are using the retrofit library to connecting the front end to the backend part. So thanks everyone. This is the conclusion of the Android retrofit library. So I hope you will learn a lot in this video. So thank you so much.